y'all, it's Barb coming from my craft studio. I'm going to share my paper storage today. My rainbow paper is in this calyx unit and in the first 2 cubes of this 4 cube one. This one's actually not a calyx unit. It's one I bought at Kohl's. I think the cubes are just slightly larger. And then the last two, these two here, are my themes. My seasons are on paper cards and I will show those later. I'm going to try to move in a little closer to show you what I did with my paper. Let's sit down here. You'll get a good look at the hair today. It was really short. I think my pink is almost exactly how I would like it. Most colors have 4 of these paper handlers. They're the Totally Tiffany paper handlers. They're called the handler because they have handles. It can come out so you can pull it off the shelf if you want, carry them with you. Some people complain that that kind of bites into you, which I kind of get, but I don't carry my paper that much, so that's not an issue, and I'm not sure that they could have done anything to make that better. The only suggestion I can think of is to create like a handle wrap for it that kind of velcros around it so that it doesn't get so it's not biting if you're carrying things a lot. Otherwise, if you're just bringing them back and forth to your desk, or if you travel and you're putting them into a tote, I don't think you're going to be carrying them that much, so I don't think it'll be that big of a deal. But this is my pink. It's mainly my 8.5 by 11, and my colors that don't have names are usually stuff I bought in a pack at Hobby Lobby or Michael's or Joann that has an assortment of colors, but the colors really don't have names. And then at the beginning of each section of my rainbow, I have a Totally Tiffany paper handler. I love these things and wish I had the budget for them, like in my pattern papers and in my specialty papers. The front is just odd size scraps, and then I do 6 by 6 in this one. The pocket is like 6 by 8, and then anything smaller than 4 by 6 goes in this little pocket, and then this I try to use for 6 by 12, which right now this pocket is empty. You can just see the stuff in the back. The back I have labeled letter size, but honestly I have too much letter size to put in most of them, so that's kind of a waste. But I really want to try to keep my scraps to just the odd size ones to just one pocket, because if it goes more than that, it just means I'm not using my scraps and I don't need to keep as many. And then the next one is my main color, like my Basil cardstock. I think I have a little bit of Stampin' Up. I'm trying to think if I have any other brands in there. Some of these ones here, I found these paper sleeves on Amazon. I think they might actually be meant for record albums, but I use them for my 12 by 12 paper that has names. And you could also use like a 12 by 12 sheet protector for this purpose if you want, if it's something you wanted to do. And then since I had a few extra dividers, I put the name of the color, which in this case is Ballet. Here it's what line of paper it came from Basil. So this one's dotted Swiss because it's got that raised. Doesn't seem too raised, but it's got the oh, it is raised. It's got like the embossed dots on it, Swiss dots on it. So, and then I keep an inventory of how much I have at the front. I need to be better about updating that. What I should do is try to, when I go to Joann when they're having their paper sale, pick up, kind of figure out which colors I'm low on, and pick some up when they have, like this weekend later this week. I think they have it 10 for 2 again. But I probably won't be there during that time. I'm going to take the next one off or pull it out, just because it'd be easier. 5 of these fit fairly snugly on a shelf, which is why I prefer them to her paper junkie boxes, which if you're just work from home, those paper junkie boxes would be fine. They're like a corrugated cardboard. But I didn't like, with those, they're wider, so only 3 fit on the shelf, and then there's a narrow spot. You might be able to put a paper handler in it. Not sure on that, but you couldn't put another paper junkie box. And I prefer to have it filled all the way. Just me. This one is my patterned pink papers. See, this is where I'd like to have in each pattern a scrap master, but that's just way too expensive. I am using her 12 by 12 pockets that she designed originally for her fab file, and I'm finding I actually like these better than the dividers because I can stick. I like the dividers in my solid papers because I do like those sleeves I'm using, and I can put my scraps right in with those named colors have scraps. But this is for my anything that's smaller than 12 by 12. Even though this is actually 6 by 6 paper, and this is actually 8.5 by 11 paper, I put it in my scrap folder because it's smaller than 12 by 12, so that way it doesn't get lost within my paper. But like in my patterns, that was my dots. That was my double-sided actually, not dots, which there's just a lot of dots in there. But this is double-sided paper. I like to separate my double-sided paper because I try to save it for projects that you need double-sided paper for, because you're going to see both sides of the project. This one I'm actually using one of her collection keepers. I had one left, and they work nice too, and are a little cheaper than the Scrap Masters, so they could work for my pattern paper if I have enough of them, but I probably need more over my vinyl. But I have the double-sided dots, florals, plaids, stripes, wood, and then my last section is just labeled the rest. Tiffany says there is no miscellaneous in organization, which I agree with. But here it is all pink pattern paper that doesn't fit in any of the other categories that I created, so it goes in here. And then the last section is my specialty paper. Up here. The specialty paper for me is made up of foil, glitter, mulberry, poster board. Oops, supposed to be pearl, then poster board, and then white vellum and white core. The pink I actually am using for a lot of them, one of these Scrap Masters, and this one I have it labeled odd size scraps, which I don't have to have for this one. 6 by 6, smaller than or equal to 4 by 6, 6 by 12. My letter size is going here, and I don't have the back labeled. It's got my letter size foil in it. You know, my mulberry, my vellum, and my, actually I think the white core might be different. Where's the vellum at? The vellum, they're in one of Tiffany's paper pockets. I did leave a, just like a piece of poster board back there just to give it a little bit of more stiffness so that the vellum doesn't get all bent over. Which that poster board is sneaking out of there. It doesn't want to go back into the rack. I think this one I did use paper pocket for the white core. Couldn't remember whether I used a paper pocket or one of the what does she call those? 12 by 12. I think it's just 12 by 12 pocket for the other one. But that's all my specialty paper. Now I could have mixed that in with my patterns, but I actually like it separate because a lot of times, especially in the Dreaming Tree projects, he'll suggest, oh, this element should be made of foil or glitter or whatever. So I like having them separate. But that kind of repeats throughout my entire paper section. I think this video is going to be different videos for each different type. I'm hoping maybe we can put in the themed paper, which over in this corner. This and the first section of this cube are my themed paper, and then I have crepe paper. I have two full of crepe paper. I have like colors, and then I have neutrals, and then I have felt there. Now here, the Scrap Masters would not work for me because I'm using these. I think they might have been made by Cropper Hopper, but they're really thin. But I find they work really well for scraps because themes, because most of my themes aren't that big. I have a couple, like my wedding theme that's bigger, that I have in a paper handler. And I think like my education childhood one is really full. And here I'm just using one of those paper sleeves for my scraps. I thought about switching to the pocket, but each of my dividers I had used washi on for whatever the theme was, like this is animals, so I had some owl washi, and I didn't want to have to try to peel that off, so I just left it. So my animal themes actually has two as well, because I have one that's just cats, because I have more cat stuff than I do, because we have cats. Well, we have one cat now because our daughter did take the one cat with her. But that's kind of my rainbow and themed paper. I will probably stop here and then do another video that shows my seasonal paper, my vinyl, and my card making. I guess paper, for lack of a better word. But I'm going to stop here. I want to thank you for joining me. I'll catch you next time.